Welcome to Financial Wealth Check with Aisha Virzi, where we address the family, faith, and finance. Thanks for joining us today.
We're going to do three questions today. We're going to do the rental versus assets, and we're going to do compound living and also the strong financial house. All right, so my first question to you this morning is owning assets versus rental. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question, and that question comes up often. Just actually on Saturday, we had a conversation about that. There was a gathering of a friend's birthday, and we're talking about assets and liability and what's more important. If you're trying to start out for a young person, what's the best? And I think one thing all of us have to realize is it just depends. It depends on where you are at a particular time in your life. Perhaps if it's a young person, renting for a short time, it's a good idea.
Right.
You rent so you can prepare yourself for the next move. You don't want to be a perpetual renter where you're only renting, because then what you're doing literally is paying somebody else's mortgage. Think about it. You're paying somebody else's house.
Correct.
Again, for a short time, it's okay. If you have to do it, there's nothing wrong with that. But do it properly, where you're not set up where all the money you've made all your life, you're paying somebody else's mortgage off, and you don't own anything. So now that's the difference between the ownership and the renting. We talk about ownership because when you rent something, again, your rent doesn't belong to you. If
Right.
you rent,
It's somebody else's property. Pretty much. All right. Aisha had some connectivity issue going on, so we're gonna wait for her to get back. We're gonna try to connect with her and see how that works. But like she said, when you're renting, you're paying, pretty much paying for somebody else's property, and they're reaping the benefits of that. I think she's back. Aisha, you're back.
yes, I'm back. I think the our audio went up, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we were actually talking about, like I said, we're discussing it this weekend,
hmm
and I'm so grateful that most of them said, it's okay for my kids to rent for a short time, but the
hmm
goal is for them to own their own home. A starter home, it doesn't matter if it's one bedroom, two bedroom, but it's
Right.
yours. It's yours. When you pay, anytime you pay, you're paying towards the principal to go it down, so you own it.
That's right.
In the history of this globe, of this earth, ownership is key. Why is there a
Mm.
disparity between one zip code and another zip code? It's ownership. People that own the land, built it,
hmm
made it look the way they want it to look, and then rent it to you. But they own it. They can tell you tomorrow time for you to leave,
Right. Right.
and then
It's
you're
theirs.
back again searching.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
constantly searching because you don't own anything. So the difference between renting and ownership again is just that dignity and a peace of mind that you have over time, and
hmm
also just even common sense, and just thinking, yeah, I will rent for a short time just so that I can get myself in the right space. But when I'm paying for somebody else's home and I'm not making any move to make mine, that's a problem. Right. And again, like I say, so
Right.
it just depends on where you are in your life at a particular time. But at the end of the day, you want to own your own piece of land or home and build on it. That should
hmm
be the goal for every person. And if you cannot do it alone, family, come together as a family
hmm
and
hmm
make that happen. So that's the big difference between renting and owning. It's really just having your own piece that belongs to you.
All right. That's our first question, and everybody, I'm sure you got that clear and it cleared up for you. When you own your own, you're turning your own key. That's yours, man. Nobody can take that from you. All right. Do you believe in compound living? Is compound living the same as you're referring to when you get family and you join with somebody to come together? How's explain that to us?
Compound living is such a powerful, you know, phenomena that I think has been pushed aside because when we all immigrated to a country where it's not our village, right? So when we now end up living with everybody else or different people. So consequently, we can form a compound. We can only rent or buy just us buy a piece of land and that's us, and we build maybe have our own home,
Right.
but with other people. So sometimes if you talk about some zoning housing, you live with a group of people, almost like a compound, but not a compound per se, because those people there don't know you. They don't greet you in the morning. You maybe only see them driving past you. But a compound living,
Uh huh.
aka when we're back home, as you know, back home,
Mm-hmm.
literally like they own a piece of land,
Mm-hmm.
and every person in the family lives there. There's on the left there is my older brother with his
Yeah. Yeah.
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over there is my dad's house. On the right side is my
Uh huh.
sister,
Uh huh.
or my or or my uncle owns a house right there. So that's really compound living, and it is also protected. That compound is protected. There's a big space in the middle where all the families come together.
Mm-hmm.
They share everything. You still have your own kitchen, your own personal space, but there's this living space that is so giving. It's so life giving. Everybody's there all the time, and you know who is in and who is out. You know what's going on in the
Right.
family, and that's why we don't talk about, oh, I'm depressed or I'm sad, nobody's there for me, because we have a compound. And
Right.
the compound, if I'm sad, maybe my dad upset me, I'll just go to my uncle's and just spend some time talking and laughing. That is how people lived in the past, and that togetherness was so solid, and you're able to save money, and if you want to do business, you can save because you're together and do a business.
Right.
But now we don't have that anymore. So we're struggling more and more. And when we say we don't have money, it's because we don't have that compound way of living. I know it will be difficult to do it here, but there's this gentleman that is out there. I think there's several of them now talking about compound living.
Mm-hmm.
Say we should bring it back because families are fragmented too much, and that's where there's a lot of disagreement, fighting, because we're not seeing each other all the time, loving each other, taking care of each other. So consequently, we don't care. Okay, you do your, I do mine, but that doesn't help us. We see it's not helping us.
Right.
So he was pushing that compound living should be brought back, and I said, wow, this is how we live in Africa. We have
Mm-hmm.
compound living. My grandma is right there. My dad, my uncles are all around the space, and we get to see each other all the time, and we spend time together. Who is graduating? Who's going to school? But here we have to travel to see each other
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we don't
Always do.
practice compound living any longer. So I thought that's a good idea because you can save with compound living because you live with your family, so
Mm-hmm.
you're able to save more money. If you can do it in the large scale over here, again, buy a buy a big home where you have several bedrooms and you can all live together, where it's spacious, so people can save money
Yeah.
and use that money to start something else and start a business, so that now that money again helps the family to do better and better. So we share that responsibility of where we live, how we live our life, and the joy that brings to us. So that's what compound living gives.
Wow, 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 wow. I'm sure listeners, a lot of a lot of them probably was like, it's against, it's against, against that plan, mainly because some people just can't live together, you know, and that what Aisha is saying is, if you know that is your situation, then don't go for that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Yeah, don't don't go for that. If you know you and Uncle so and so can't get along, then don't buy a house with Uncle so and so. You know,
No,
don't buy a house with Uncle John, man, because you
no.
know your Uncle John not going. You know, you're not going to get along. You know what I mean? so Auntie Sue, you know Auntie Sue has a mouth. You know what I mean? And you can't deal with her mouth, then don't go buy a house with Auntie Sue, unless it's business wise. If you're buying it to rent it out back to somebody and you know she's business minded, then hey, invest with Auntie Sue, man. But she's not saying to go live uncomfortably, okay?
No, no, no. Far from that. No,
Don't make yourself uncomfortable,
no.
just to save some money, okay?
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. You have to be wise with that still.
There you
And
go.
and also, brothers and sisters, it doesn't have to be your immediate family. Especially
That's
those of us
correct.
that are here. It could be
That is
great
true.
friends that we care about.
That
And
is
we know that
true.
we get along very well. We can form a compound living, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Or get a place and live together. Also, we can build for the next level.
yeah.
But it's not, you don't go to live with someone that makes your life miserable and makes you suffer. No, no, no.
right? Make your life go through something,
No, no, we don't want that. The Lord doesn't want that for any of us.
That's
No,
correct. That's
no.
correct. You wouldn't want that for us at all. All right, my final question for you today is what does it mean to have a strong financial house? What does that mean?
Isn't that what everybody wants? A
Mm-hmm.
solid financial house, a strong financial house,
Mm-hmm.
where if whatever comes to it, the house still stays standing.
Mm.
Right? That's a strong financial house. That whatever happens, that house
Mm-hmm.
stays standing.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I mean by that? Because we talk about faith, family, and finance.
Right.
In the family aspect, we talk about compound living. We which family members can we come together and have a compound living? Okay, now we have that. We thank God for that. If that's something that is feasible and possible for us, great. But now our financial house needs to be strong. Okay,
Mm.
how can we? What is that? What does that mean? What is that for us here in the United States that are all immigrants and those of us listening even outside the United States? It's the same thing for all of us. Do you have debt as part of
Mm-hmm.
one of your issues that you worry about at home, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then those debt needs to be really tackled right away. Because if you tackle those debt, then your financial house will not be shaking so much. So
Right.
you tackle your debt and make sure that you have emergency fund. You have to have emergency fund. That is one of the biggest thing that is underrated that people don't use. They underrate it and don't make sure that they have emergency fund,
Mm-hmm.
or if they have money in the bank, they think now I should spend that money. But no, you put that money for rainy days. That's the reason why you store some grains for future. It's the same thing for us. We're not farmers, right? We don't farm. So then we have to save money in case we have an emergency we have to take care of. That's what the emergency fund is for, how to be strong. We need that, right? So we don't go back to debt because we don't have that emergency funds for finances, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what about when we get sick or something happens to us?
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy for all of us to think, oh, I'll be okay. But then something happens that is very serious, that we can't work for a long period of time, and there's no income coming, and there's no emergency fund,
Mm-hmm.
right? So our financial house needs to be strong to cover debt, emergency fund, and then what if I get sick, right? So, or if I get disabled, will
Mm-hmm.
my family continue to be strong if something happens to me? And then another thing to think about is, okay, now I'm working, I'm young, I'm working hard. Am I saving enough? Not just depending on what somebody promises me, but am I personally putting money aside for my retirement? Because the time is going to come that you can't work anymore, where you
Right.
need to take a break, or if you work because you want to work, not because you have to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the money is divvy up to make sure that we have money for retirement planning. We're putting money aside. If our job is giving us and matching us, great. But what do we have on our own, putting aside by investing so that that way we have money coming to us
Right.
for
Right.
when we retire? And then finally, is our home protected? Do we have the proper protection for our retirement money that we have for our debt, so that we protect, so if something happens to our income that is coming in,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to take care of all the other things that happen, whether we like it or not, because life continues. You have to feed, you have to go to the market,
Mm-hmm.
something will break down at home, these things will happen.
Right.
So when you have a strong financial house, you're thinking about all these variables: my protection for my whole family, my retirement when I get when the time comes, it
Comes
comes
up.
very quickly before you
Mm-hmm.
know it, right? Am I making sure that I have emergency fund ready if we have to get up and move because something is going on? Am
Mm-hmm.
I tackling my debt so that my debt ratio doesn't outweigh what I'm earning, right? And then if I get disabled, is my family going to be okay? So
Wow.
this is what a strong financial house allows you to think, so that when you set it up, whatever happens to you, your financial house is solid. If you something happens and you have
Mm-hmm.
disability, you're
Mm-hmm.
protected because you had emergency fund. If you start getting weak, you can't work anymore, your retirement fund is ready to take care of you. If something happened, finality, your whole house is in place because you protected it with the insurance that is proper, whether it's health
Mm-hmm.
insurance, liability insurance, disability insurance, life insurance. You have that in place. That's how you have a solid financial house. And it's important to sit down, talk about it, make the time to do it, because this is the things that keep us awake at night, because we're not taking care of those variables.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy. Just call, make that move, take care of it, right? And have it in place. So that's what it means to have a strong
Financial
financial
house.
house.
All right, all right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Our three questions for today. We are tickling her mind and challenging her with these questions. Send your questions in so I could ask them for you. Or you can call in live on the air at 954-998-4777, live on the show, and we can ask those questions to her and have her answer them. Remember to reach out to her directly at 626-340-5746. That's 626-340-5746. It's on the screen. Make sure you reach out to her and ask her your questions, man. She have answers for everything. I promise you. If she don't know it, she'll get somebody else to tell you what is up. All right. So you
Absolutely.
want to reach out to Aisha Virzi, and she will help you um, get your finances together and sort you out real nice and proper. All right. Please also remember that we post all of these videos on our social media site, so you can go on there and share them with somebody. You know, let's share them with a friend. You know what I mean? You never know. You hear somebody say they're gonna purchase a home, or they're gonna be buying a car, or whatever it is that they're gonna be doing financially, and you just share these videos with them so that they can see them, and they can get what they need from that. You know, you never know. You never know who's watching. I've always said that to the staff here. You never know who's watching, so you never know what they're gonna learn from what we share. I think any final words, Aisha?
Yes, the final word is, we live for today. We're here today. We're present. We
Mm-hmm.
plan for tomorrow, and we trust in the Lord for our future. We
I
do
like
that,
that. I like that.
and but we do what the Lord tell us. Be prepared. Don't don't not do anything and then say the Lord will take care of me. We have to do our part. So let's make
Of
sure we're
course.
doing that. But I'm grateful for you, my brother. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You are so very welcome, my sister. God bless you.
God
God bless
bless
you.
you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. And all the best for the rest of this week. All right, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Aisha with our financial well check, our faith, family, and finance. You're locked into GL365 Radio, the radio choice.